country that exported 200,000 babies now can't get anyone to have children. Korea has sent more children overseas for adoption than any other country in modern history. Hundreds of thousands of Korean babies shipped to America, Europe, and Australia. And now Korea has the lowest birth rate on earth. The country that couldn't get rid of its children fast enough is now desperately begging people to have them. This is one of the most painful reversals in modern history. Part 1. The numbers. Between 1953 and the present day, South Korea sent approximately 200,000 children overseas for international adoption, more than any other country ever. At the peak of the 1970s and 80s, Korea was sending out thousands of children every single year to American families mostly, but also to Europe. Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, Denmark became home to thousands of Korean adoptees. These weren't orphans in the traditional sense. Many had living parents, mothers who were unmarried, and in Korean society at the time, having a child outside of marriage was not just shameful, it was socially catastrophic. The woman's life was effectively over. The child had no legal status, no future, so the children were given up, sometimes willingly, sometimes under pressure, sometimes through agencies that weren't entirely honest with mothers about what international adoption actually meant. Some of those agencies earned a lot of money, and the government facilitated, encouraged it, because those children were an embarrassment. Evidence of poverty, social failure, messy human consequences of rapid industrialization that country is now trying to hide. Better to export the problem literally. Part 2. Why it happened. To understand Korean adoption, you have to understand what Korea was in the 1960s and 70s. A country devastated by war, one of the poorest in Asia, rapidly industrializing but deeply unequal. Traditional Confucian values that valued enormous shame on illegitimacy, disability, mixed-race children, especially born to Korean mothers and American soldiers, had almost no future in Korean society. They were called Tweegi, meaning half-breeds, completely outside the social structure. These children flooded into adoption agencies, and the agencies had international networks, particularly in America, where Korean babies were seen as desirable, healthy, young, available, relatively light-skinned, and they were nerds. It became an industry. Agencies charged fees, facilitated paperwork, moved children across oceans with remarkable efficiency. Some operated ethically, others not so much. There are documented cases of children being taken from families under false pretenses. Mothers told their children would be temporarily cared for, not permanently adopted. Documents falsified, children given new identities before they were old enough to remember their original ones. Korea's adoption industry made money, and it solved a social problem the government didn't want to deal with directly. Part 3. The adoptees come back. Something interesting started happening. In the 2000s, these adoptees grew up, and they started coming back. Korean adoptees, now adults in their 30s, 40s, 50s, began returning to Korea to find their birth families, to understand where they come from, to reckon with what happened to them. Some found families, emotional reunions, mothers who had spent decades wandering, siblings who never knew they existed. Others found sealed records, falsified documents, birth mothers who had been told their child died, adoptees who discovered they had been given false names, false birthdays, false origins. The Korean government has faced growing pressure from adoptee communities, from human rights organizations, to acknowledge what happened, to open records, to investigate agencies that operated unethically. In 2023, Korea reissued a formal government apology for the adoption program, acknowledging that children were sometimes taken without proper consent, that the system prioritized export over the welfare of families. It was the first apology decades later, and for many adoptees, not enough. Part 4, the reversal. And now, here's the part that makes your head spin. The country that spent 200,000 children overseas because it had too many unwanted babies now has a birth rate of 0.72, the lowest on earth. Korea is now paying people to have children. Cash incentives, housing benefits, parental leave policies. Some local governments offering $70,000 per child, and it's not working. The same society that shamed unmarried mothers into giving up their babies now can't convince married couples to have any at all. The same government that facilitated the export of children now runs campaigns begging citizens to reproduce. The women who would have been forced into giving up children in the 1970s are now the generation that decided no children at all. Is that revenge? Is that progress? Is that just history being darkly funny? All three, probably. Part 5, the ending. Korea's adoption story is one of the most complicated in modern history. 200,000 children sent away, many of them thriving in their adopted countries, many of them spending their entire lives with an unanswerable question at their center. Who am I and why was I given away? And the country that gave them away is now disappearing for lack of children. The irony is almost too much. Korea didn't run out of people who wanted children. It ran out of people who believed this system was worth reproducing into. The adoptees were the first generation that Korea decided weren't worth keeping. The generation that followed decided Korea wasn't worth